okay.
Hey everybody, it's Brian and Rachel Goulet of the Goulet Pen Company and InkNouveau.com. It is Wednesday, December 5th, 2012. We're here doing our 90th Right Time broadcast.
Really?
90th.
Wow.
Yes. And we're celebrating by me being sick and sounding like a frog.
I'm sick too, but I don't sound like you.
Rachel got whatever I had and it still have. So we're a little sick tonight. We almost decided to cancel the broadcast.
Well, there's so much exciting stuff to talk about. We wanted to press through. So we've been down in the halls and, we can actually speak now. So
yeah.
I don't know how we're going to be for our church choir concert this weekend, but
I don't know. At this point, it's not looking too good. But what are you going to do?
We sing the high parts too.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I don't sound like I sing very high right now, I tell you that much.
Probably not. You can sing down an octave, maybe.
Yeah. So we've got some lozenges and we've got some water and stuff like that. So you'll have to forgive us for sounding a little off on this broadcast. But really what it was is we have so much new and exciting stuff that just came in, and it's the Christmas season, and everybody's all just kind of buzzing about everything that's going on. We didn't want to cancel the broadcast.
Yeah, and I have some updated timelines and that sort of stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah, we're pressing through.
So maybe I'll let Rachel kind of do most of the talking because I sound pretty terrible right now.
I feel terrible, but it's all right.
I feel and sound terrible.
I do sound a little bit better than you.
Yeah, but anyway.
All right, well, I guess we'll just dive right in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have different stuff queued up than we have on the list. So you kind of got to guide
No
us.
worries. No,
you
it's
switch
okay.
Around?
I got all kinds of pictures and stuff loaded up. We're playing around with some new stuff on the broadcast.
You don't have to go in that order. You can go in any order.
I can do whatever we want.
Oh, okay.
This is our
cool
thing. Yeah.
Well, Noodler's Konrad Ebonite Flex Pens. Make sure I said all that right. Oh, they're now out of stock. We just sold the last one.
Oh, man. We had it. We had
like
one
5
left.
minutes ago.
We had one left. Anyway, there's 3 colors of the Noodler's Konrad.
More are coming, so I'll just put it out there first so that everyone's like, why are you showing us something that just sold out?
We knew it was going to be bad. We knew they were going to sell out way too fast.
We got a lot less than we ordered, and they knew that, but they didn't want to keep us waiting any longer. So they gave us everything they had. We talked to Nathan last night. He is still QCing the remaining batch. It's a very laborsome process for him, in addition to making all the ink and everything else he's doing.
Yeah.
So more are going to be coming. So I don't know when. Hopefully in the next couple weeks. But these arrived today. They promptly sold out in a couple hours. But 3 colors. There's a brown, a green, and a light brown. And to be honest, the brown and the light brown look pretty similar.
Yeah, what we're looking at right now, this is the light brown.
No, that's the brown.
That's the brown? No, I don't think so. That's the
light brown.
We're even having a hard time tell. There you go. That's the other one. That's
the
light
one.
brown.
The one that's
okay.
more tan is the light brown, and the one that's like a richer chestnut, that's more the brown.
Okay, so what we're looking at right now is the brown. No, light brown. Oh my gosh, I'm a mess.
That's light brown.
Okay, hang on. Let me cue up the other picture. Okay, looking at this picture, which one is brown and which one is light brown?
Okay, from left to right, I guess from up to down, you have light brown, green, and brown. So like I said, the one that's more tan, more yellowy, that's the light brown. And the one that's more of like a chestnut, like a richer, more red to it. Not a lot of red, but you know what I mean. That's the brown.
I have the 2 pens right here.
Uh-huh.
Man, they're really close. But
yeah, the light brown has a little more yellow to it. Whereas the brown has a little more red. I don't know. Olive.
Anyway.
Olive, that's a good color.
Not that it matters anyway, because we don't have any more.
More should be coming. So we talked to Nathan about this a little bit last night. These pens are going to be kind of like the Ahabs were when they first came out. So you have these like little spurts of limited quantities, and then production will really ramp up. So these that we have now, these are actually going to be what he would call like a limited edition. Not this batch, but once the batch is completed, it should be however many hundreds of pens in all total being made of these across the whole world and everything. Yeah. Then he has plans for some rippled, he says like Waterman rippled ebonite. He says maybe half dozen, 10 colors, somewhere between there. Once it totally ramps up.
Yeah, it'll be a few months before he really gets a decent supply.
It could be the summer. I'm not even sure.
If you remember the early Flex Pen days, I mean, the first Flex Pen shipment that we had,
sputters. It
was small amounts.
Yeah, and then there was like 6 months in between. I don't think it'll be.
It's not going to be that long, but it's going to be a little while. So we have this shipment. They're gone. They're going to be around. I would guess probably maybe in another month. Just. Yeah, guessing a month and a half, something like that. I would guess the next
couple weeks.
Yeah,
that would be my guess.
Yeah, hopefully shorter. But
yeah, he said he's trying to work on it before Christmas, so hopefully.
Yeah, but keep in mind, Nathan is one guy. He's one guy making all of the ink, handling all these pens. There's like 50-some different AHABs now. All these different Konrads, the Ebonite Konrads, the brush pens now, which we'll get to in a second. He's just an insanely busy man. So that's why these things take so long.
And someone emailed, I haven't responded to them yet, but they're asking how come these are double the price of the regular Konrads?
It's the Ebonite.
Exactly. It's the material. It's pretty rare to come by now. Nathan's saying like it's getting really hard to talk to people who know their stuff in the industry just because it's not.
Well, he basically said that there is nobody. He's had to figure it all out himself because there is no one left who dealt with Ebonite back in the day.
Yeah, especially
so he's having to figure it all out himself.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to replicate some of these vintage things. So
yeah,
it's the material, and these pens are a little more laborsome as far as the personal touches. So
yeah,
so that's that. It's for $40 with a Flex Pen Ebonite. Still,
it's insane. There's nothing else like it. It's still a
value. Like there's no margins along the way. It's everything is to bring the lowest cost to the customer possible. Yeah. So
Writing Grab in the chat asked, it doesn't make sense. How can one guy do all that stuff? Well, he works like 20 hours a day. No joke.
Through the weekends.
Yeah, he doesn't make all the pens himself. He has, plant, I guess, in India that he works with. But he develops all of them and quality controls all of them and has to source all the different parts and come up with the designs and deal with the back and forth about quality and stuff like that.
Negotiating all the prices.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth.
Scheduling all the production work.
But he does make all of the ink himself.
He does.
I honestly don't know how he does it.
No.
I really don't know how. He's just an amazing individual. So anyway.
So Ebonite Konrads, we had them. They sold out. Hopefully more will come in the next couple weeks.
Yep. But I will be shooting a video on them soon, as soon as I don't sound like I sound right now. I did hold back one of each color for myself so I can shoot a video on it, get it out there. Nathan does have a video on YouTube. It's Ink Need Last Forever, which, if I'd thought about that ahead of time, I'd have thrown it up on there. But Rachel can put it in the chat. Ink Need Last Forever on YouTube. Check out Nathan's. He's got like 30 or 40 videos out there on all different things. But he just did one on the brush pens, so... Oh, sorry. Brush pens and on the Konrads. Right?
One was on the brush pens. Yeah, adjusting the Konrad.
Adjusting the Konrad.
Well, adjusting any of them, yeah.
I'm not sure if he showed the Ebonites in there, actually, now that I think about it.
No, it was on heat setting the nibs.
Yeah.
And feet.
Okay.
So, want to just talk about the brush pen while we're on it?
Yeah, let's go to the brush pen. Okay, so this is the Noodler's Konrad brush pen, which
this is the new and improved version of what he had. Basically, we had a prototype batch a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah, this is it's the same body as the Konrad Flex pen,
but with a brush tip.
With a brush tip, yeah.
Question in the chat: does the Noodler's Konrad brush pen come ready to use once filled with ink? Or does one have to cut and glue the brush as shown in Nathan's video at your site? I plan to order one either way. It does come with the brush already in it.
It comes just as you see it pictured here. So it's got the brush tip in it, ready to go. The only modification, if you want to do it, is say you get a medium and you want to make it a finer brush, or you want to do some kind of custom cut to your brush.
Or you want to order, a replacement brush and, do something fun with it.
Yeah, the replacement brush tips come basically 3 times the size of the tips that fit in here. Mm-hmm. So they do need to be cut down before you put them in. That's the only thing. But, he's got a video on that. It's not super complicated. Here's a pen broken apart. It's the same piston mechanism as the, Konrads that you've probably been familiar with already, with a blind cap and everything covering the piston rod. So it comes in 2 different colors. There's the Roaring 20s Brown Tortoise.
Which they call Black Tortoise. But it's the same as the Roaring 20s if you're familiar with that.
Sorry. And then there's the black, which is what we have shown here. Both have clear ink windows, which is very nice to show your ink level.
One of them comes with like what he calls a fine, and the other comes with like a medium nib. It's really just the thickness of the brush, and honestly, it's not that huge of a difference.
Well, I haven't inked them up myself to be able to tell the difference.
Well, yeah, I think once we ink them up, we'll be able to tell for sure.
Yeah,
just eyeballing it, it's not.
It's the black ones that you see
obvious.
here. The black ones you see are the ones that come with the fine.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the tortoise has the medium.
Yes. So those are the Noodler's brush pens. We had some Noodler's brush pens, some Konrad brush pens in black and burgundy a while ago.
A prototype batch.
They were a prototype batch. It was one batch that we had for a couple of months, I think. And a lot of people enjoyed them. And once they were gone, a lot of people were asking about them because there really aren't a lot of brush pens out there.
No.
Like refillable brush pens. They're really hard to come by. So this is kind of a cool thing to have in the marketplace.
Question in the chat. Do the Konrad feeds fit the rollerball tips? So I know these pens were designed to be interchangeable between like a rollerball, a brush pen, and the fountain pen, that sort of thing. I'll be completely honest. We haven't watched Nathan's video all the way through.
I haven't tested it yet for myself. I intended to, but we got these late today, and
we just didn't have time.
I just didn't have time to do it. But
that'll be your project before you do a video.
I'll cover that in my video for sure.
We'll let you know.
I know with the old ones, with the prototype ones, they were not interchangeable.
They weren't, but I know
think
he
was
planning on designing these to be interchangeable.
Yeah, so we'll have to get back to you on that, but I believe that they are.
Can you only use fountain pen inks in the brush pens?
You can use, as opposed to what, like drawing? I know you can use pigmented ink. Mm-hmm. That's actually, pigmented ink is what it's made for. Is for brush pens, ideally. Like the Sailor Nano inks, the Platinum Carbon Black, and Pigmented Blue.
Or thicker.
Those are originally designed for brush pens. So that's where they really shine. As far as other inks, like shellac-based inks and stuff like that, I don't think you're going to want to use those. Any like drawing ink or true India ink or anything like that, you're probably not going to want to do that. You're going to want to stick to fountain pen inks pretty much.
Yeah, I would use those in like the Kuretake water brush or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not really that into other types of inks.
Liquid watercolor type inks?
Probably.
Those should be okay.
If it's, as long as it's
they're
water-based.
mostly water-based. Yeah, if they're water-based, that should be fine.
As long as it's water-based, I think you'll be good. You just don't want to use anything shellac-based or anything crazy like that. Yeah, but I think you'll be good there. So that's the brush pens. If you got any other questions, just hit us up in the chat. But
next up, and I'm just going right down the list of the topics we posted today. The Platinum 3776 Century Chartres Blue.
Chartres Blue.
Chartres Blue.
Yeah, there's a fancy French way to say it, but we're sick already, and we'll just kind of avoid the whole botching the French saying. But Chartres is good enough for right now. So it's basically a 3776 Century pen, which if you're familiar with the Black Century or
the
Bourgogne, which I have right here, it's like the Bourgogne in that it is translucent. Mm-hmm. So it's probably about 80% opaque, but then it has like maybe 20% translucency. So
it's a very deep blue, or in this case burgundy, but a blue. But you can still very much see through it.
Yeah,
so I'll show you a couple pictures here while we're talking.
So here's the pen. It's absolutely just breathtaking. It does have just the slightest tinge of purple to it in fluorescent light anyway, because that's what I was looking at it in earlier. But it's a deep blue with gold accents. It's a 14 karat gold nib. I really am just a total sucker for blue pens, personally. You can see here in the picture of the cap that there is that translucency to it. You can kind of see the nib through the cap. And then the Century pens are kind of interesting because Platinum designed
the slip and seal mechanism.
Yes, this proprietary slip and seal thing that basically you can ink up a pen and the nib will stay wet for, they claim, a year or more.
2 years they've advertised.
2 years.
And the nice thing about this is it's they've engineered it to be used with the platinum pigmented inks, like the carbon inks. And this is so much to the point where they actually include a cartridge of the pigmented blue with this pen. So they're really trying to market this as like, your ink is not going to dry out in this pen.
Yeah, they're kind of putting their money where their mouth is, I guess. Or they're putting their reputation on the line by shipping a pigmented ink with the pen. And, I've had some people email me that are like really concerned about that. And it's like, well, they must really believe in what they're doing. I mean, the Japanese, they know their pigmented inks because they deal with brush pens and stuff like that. They know their fountain pens for sure. So I trust they know more about this stuff than I do. So I think that, it's an interesting move on their part, but, I haven't used the pigmented blue in this pen yet. Again, we just got these today. So I've got one myself. But one cool thing to note about these pens that we haven't seen before is that it comes in extra fine, and that's a Japanese extra fine. So it is like hairline.
Very
thin.
fine. And it now also comes in extra fine in the begonia as well. So if you had your eye on that, but you wanted something finer, there you go. And it's is it 14 karat, correct?
14 karat.
14 karat, extra fine, fine, medium, or broad.
Yep.
There is no soft fine or ultra extra fine or anything like that with this. It's just extra fine through broad.
Correct. And
the first 2,000 are numbered.
Yes.
It is not a limited edition pen, but the first 2,000 are going to be numbered.
Yeah, so it comes with this little card for the first 2,000 of them. I got number 62. That's kind of cool, I guess. It comes with some other little goodies. Here's my, my pigmented blue cartridge there.
This is really bizarre.
Yeah, I don't really know what that's all about.
Oh, look, it's a pen rest, too. So there's this wooden block. It has a groove in it to be used as a pen rest. It's a stamp, which says, let's see if you can see that.
You kind of can't. Written using platinum pigment ink.
Like, why would you stamp?
I don't really know.
I don't understand.
Interesting.
That's a pen rest, too.
I'll have to play with that. But
so you get all sorts of goodies in the case.
That's a first. I've never seen that. That didn't come with a begonia or anything like that.
No.
But,
well, the begonia didn't come with a pigmented ink cartridge either.
That's true. That's true. Good point. So here's the pen. This is mine. Not to show it off too much, but what I really wanted to show you was what did I want to show? Darn, I can't remember.
The translucence?
No, I had something in mind for showing it, and I completely forgot as soon as I saw the pen. Anyway.
The number?
It does come with a converter.
The serial number?
Comes with the platinum converter. No, it wasn't the serial number. Daggone it. What the heck was I just going to talk about?
Is there a serial number on the pen?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Because it's not a limited edition. It's just they're just numbering. They did the same thing with the begonias when they first came out. They came with a card, but they weren't, they weren't numbered on the pen itself.
It's a very solid pen.
It is. Yeah. Daggone, what was I going to say? I can't remember. Sorry, everybody.
What's this 585 here?
I don't know.
That's not the number?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I don't know.
So anyway. Dang.
Too much NyQuil. I haven't even had NyQuil yet.
I was going to say something really
interesting.
Oh,
585 is 14 karat. Interesting. I did not know that. Thank you for educating us.
Cool.
585 means 14 karat gold.
Good to know.
The more you know.
I remember what I was going to show. Okay. Sorry. The older 3776s, the non-Century version, had nibs that needed a special tool, to be able to be set and removed.
Interesting.
But in the Century, the Black Century, Begonia, Shoji, Matosu, and now the Chartres Blue, it's actually just a friction fit on the nib. So you can simply pull out the nib in the feed like so, and the nib actually kind of sets itself right onto the feed. Very, very easy to do. I'll be showing that in a video soon.
That's good for cleaning.
It's good for cleaning. It's good for, if you happen to have multiple pens of these and you want to swap the nibs or whatever. There you go.
Cool.
So just an interesting fact. I know some people like me really like to take their pens completely apart when they clean certain, especially certain inks that tend to be really kind of sticky and stuff. There you go.
All right.
Chartres Blue. I'm a fan. Big fan of platinum. Honestly, we don't talk about the nicer platinum pens enough, I don't think. I don't know why they don't get more love.
I mean, as far as, I think they're right up there with Pilot as far as their nibs.
Their quality's amazing. They write well. I think they're just...
The distributor's great, so, any issues are very easily resolved.
Yeah. I'm a fan. So we'll be talking about those more. I'll
Yeah?
do videos. I intend to do a video on the Bourgogne, and I just never got around to it. I don't know. Certain things like that just kind of slip off my radar sometimes, and I smack myself for not doing a video on it. But anyway, I will get to it.
Next up, we had Platignum. Want to go over that real quick?
Yeah, sure.
They arrived since we last chatted last week.
Definitely. Platignum, lots of colors to choose from. There you go.
There's 2 models, but I'll be completely honest. We have no idea what the difference is. There's the Studio and the Time. They are exactly the same specs, the same weight, the same everything.
I mean, the colors are different, but the colors are different on the different studios too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
what we're looking at here, this is the Studio. It's a fairly good sized pen, medium weight, nice balance. It's got a smooth nib. It's a medium nib only, which is probably one of the bigger drawbacks, if there is one. So,
well, I think the bigger drawback is the filling.
Well, yeah, the filling is kind of a pain because it comes with proprietary cartridges.
Yeah.
They look like standard international, but they're not. They're proprietary Platignum cartridges, which there's only blue and black.
I have heard, and I haven't verified this, that some standard international cartridges will fit. However, what I also learned is that not all standard international are standardized. Apparently.
They're standardized where it matters, which is where the feed actually goes into the cartridge. That's usually where it grips. But the thing that makes the difference, especially on this pen, is the outer diameter of the cartridge, where it has that kind of shoulder.
Yeah.
Before it goes down to where it grips the feed. Mm-hmm. That part is narrower on these cartridges than it is on most of the standard international.
Yeah.
So I imagine with the standard international, because most pens, you're not dealing with such a narrow, feed housing.
There's more room to play with.
There's more room to play with, and it doesn't matter if it's smaller or bigger as long as it's big enough, as long as the pen itself can accommodate both. But because this one, the diameter around the feed is smaller, it only fits these smaller cartridges. So
you have a couple options. You could refill you could just stick with the 2 colors of Platignum. You could try to find some other standard international that fit, but I don't know which ones fit yet. You could refill the cartridge with an ink syringe. Or we found that the Monteverde mini ink converter fits. Now, of course, we just sold out of those. Should have more coming in tomorrow or Friday.
Yeah.
But if you want to use a converter, if you don't want to deal with cartridges or refilling them, that is an option. It doesn't have a huge ink capacity, but it does work. Yeah. But ink syringes, refilling cartridges, that'll buy you at least a little time. And we will be selling, or we do sell the cartridges if you need to get more.
Yeah.
So they will break down over time.
What we're seeing here is the Time, which, if you see, looks very, very similar to the Studio, which here's the Studio. So they look very, very similar, but I think the Time is just like a limited edition kind of color. They gave it a different name. I don't know. This is a new company that we're dealing with, so we're still trying to figure them out in terms of their marketing and strategy and stuff like that. So for the time being, we're learning it just like you are. So we'll report anything that we figure out. But what impressed us about those pens is the relatively low price point. It's kind of like in the Safari range, Safari All-Star range. It's lower, $30, so it's not, of course.
The nib is really smooth writing.
It is a great writing pen, and that's really what kind of sold us on it. But we actually found out about these pens and ordered them before we knew anything about the Pilot Metropolitan. And of course, like the Pilot Metropolitan now is like the gold standard for starter pens,
which is back
at $15.
in stock today.
We finally got more back. We've been back ordered
most
for forever.
colors. There's like 2 colors we still don't have, but they should be here soon.
Yeah, but anyway, so the Metropolitan is still just a tremendous pen, and
it's awesome.
It's awesome. Safari is still a great starter pen. If you're in that $30 range, Platignum is definitely one to consider as well. Especially since they got some fun colors to play with.
You're jumping ahead.
I am.
You are. We're going to talk about our recommendations for gifts
and
stuff.
Okay.
All right. So
Did you want to talk about any timelines or anything before we get into all that?
Well, yeah, we have some other stuff to talk about.
Okay. One shout out that I wanted to do. We mentioned this in the last broadcast. We do have the Royal Red Lamy Studios in with the 14 karat nib. We've been waiting for these for like 5 months. We just got them in last week before the broadcast, and we touched on it, and we've had some people now that have bought them and given us feedback on them, because before we were the only ones that had seen them, and so we didn't have a whole lot of feedback to go on in terms of the color and the stuff like that. And the feedback has been really good. People really like the color. It's kind of this coppery, orangey red color.
Yeah, it kind of shimmers and changes in the light.
Yeah, and the feel of the pen is really nice. One of our customers actually commented that you got the pen and just kept caressing it like Rachel did in last week's video. Just couldn't stop doing it. So I thought that was kind of neat.
It commands it. You can't help yourself.
It's true, especially when you mention it and then somebody's got to try it.
I mean, it's so it's so nice.
Okay, so what else have we got coming in soon?
I have a date for the Clear VAC-700s. For real.
A real date.
A real date. I was billed for it, and we know exactly what's going on.
Okay.
So they're coming into the U.S. next Monday. Ours, if all the shipping timelines go right, we'll have them on Thursday. I'm paying for expedited shipping because I can't wait. And it usually takes like a week to come in. I'm like, I need it sooner.
Yeah, it usually takes like a week, and that would bring it into us around the 17th
or 18th. I'm like,
which is
I can't wait that long.
Just not in time for Christmas. So we're paying just paying for faster shipping so that we can get it and have it in time to turn around, ship it out before Christmas.
So next Thursday, and this maybe change by a day or two. We'll let you know as soon as we know for sure. Thursday the 13th, we'll finally have Clear VAC-700s. Now, these are going to come with new nibs. So the VAC-700s, some of the reviews of the nibs have, some people have had great ones and other people not so great. TWSBI changed the nibs on them going forward.
Yes.
So they were using Bach, and now they're using Jowo.
Yes.
So the Clear are going to come with Jowo nibs. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what about the colored? The colored are going to transition. What'll happen is, like our next shipment, they're going to have the old Bach nib on the pen and then include a separate Jowo nib unit to go with it, paired with it at no additional cost.
Gotcha.
I need to talk to TWSBI to find out, what about our existing stock? Because
what if you just bought a VAC-700?
Right, what if you just bought it, you don't like it, you want to get a new nib?
We're working to try and figure that out.
Or, what about the ones I have? And I'm still waiting for answers on whether nib units will be available. I'm guessing not, because they did not include those on my invoice. And if they had been available, I'm sure we would have discussed that, but they didn't answer my questions on that, so I'm guessing no. Hopefully soon. This batch of Clear 700s, like everything else, is limited quantities. Not as bad as some of the last batches, but it's still much more limited than we would have requested. So I think there'll be another batch to follow, and then maybe we'll see the nib units with that.
Yeah.
There are no stubs at this time. It'll just be extra fine through broad, just like the other VAC-700s. So next Thursday, the Clear 700s are finally coming.
It's been
it's been
a year and a half, I think, since the first time that a date was said about their arrival. It's just been getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. Probably more so than we've seen with any other pen.
I'm actually glad that they're fixing the nib issue.
Yeah, me too. The issue with the other nibs, with the Bach nibs, is that the tines were set way too tight. Mm-hmm. So it caused a really stingy flow and caused it to break and have starting problems and stuff. You can actually kind of like flex out the tines a little bit, loosen that up yourself. Mm-hmm. But, some people aren't comfortable doing that, or they try it and it doesn't work quite right and things like that. So,
if you have a nib you're not happy with, just email TWSBI and they'll take care of you. Yeah. We don't have replacement parts. They want everyone to go through them directly. So
yeah.
Question in the chat: when will more Leuchtturm 1917 notebooks come in? I wanted to purchase one of the package sets, but couldn't because the notebook was out of stock. We have a huge shipment coming in tomorrow.
Yes.
So we'll restock.
It's been about a month since we've been restocking.
Yeah,
we put some orders in, and
there was some miscommunications, sent to the wrong email address, sort of thing. It's a new vendor. We're still figuring out how things work. But basically, we were following up on our orders, and they're like, "We don't have any orders for you." We're like, okay.
Come on. What is this?
Oh, we were waiting for nothing. So we put in a new order, and it will be here tomorrow. So we'll have everything restocked except one large job, or not large, master. I don't want to say large because that's the largest size, the master. One jot book, which we've never had in. It's still back ordered.
Okay.
But everything else will be restocked. So if you've been waiting on that, your time has come. Or
Cool.
we'll be here tomorrow.
Yep.
Namiki Falcons will also be back tomorrow. We've been out of those. Our distributor ran out, so we were waiting for them to get their shipment from Japan and that sort of thing. So
Christmas is kind of a crazy time. Just so you guys know, if we're ever out of stock of something, it's usually because we're back ordered on it ourselves. It's very seldom that...
Or we got slammed so much faster or harder than we anticipated, and we couldn't reorder fast enough.
We are pretty darn aggressive about trying to keep everything in stock at all times. It's an art form in and of itself, especially when you carry the product range that we do to keep in stock. So, you know, especially at this time, Christmas time, you know, things are getting restocked, and sometimes it's like, you know, like the Ebonite Konrads were in stock for like a few hours today. But then it's like Lloydstrom's coming tomorrow, and some of those may or may not sell out. And it's like Christmas just gets kind of crazy like that. So we're doing the absolute best that we can with that. So thanks for working with us on that.
They hadn't gotten their ink drop yet. December mail sucks. I mean, mail does get delayed in December a little bit.
It does.
With ink drop, I don't know if we were clear about this, but we ended up shipping them on Monday the 3rd. The first was a Saturday. Normally, we like to get things out like, say, the 30th or 31st if the first falls on the weekend.
Early side, yeah.
We try, but honestly, the week before that was Thanksgiving, and we were still catching up from that long weekend going into it.
Yeah.
So today would be 2 days after it was sent. So if you normally get it like 2 days after, it should be here now. So they'll be a little bit delayed. We're sorry about that. We honestly we're just way busier than we expected. It just took us a little longer to catch up.
Yeah.
So ink job got delayed accordingly. We were, you know, up through the weekend, you know, working on printing those and getting all those ready. So it's no small task.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to blow my nose. Smith, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do mine in a second here. Happy Smith in the chat asked, maybe I missed it, but will you get more of the Ebonite Konrads? Yes, at some point, but probably not for a few weeks, maybe a month and a half, something like that. It's gonna be a little while. Can I get one of those too? I'll wait till we cut to the next picture before I blow my nose.
I know, I couldn't wait. I was trying to wait.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What else we got? Is that pretty much it for stuff that we want to talk about?
I found out the 3 new Iroshizuku colors are not going to arrive before January. So their anticipated arrival into the U.S. is January 1st, so give or take a week, you know. We'll have them early January.
Yeah.
So.
Kind of stinks. Not in time for Christmas.
Japan always gets stuff first.
That's okay.
Yeah,
it'll be worth it.
We'll get them. They're coming.
I'm excited about the colors. I've seen some swabs of them from people that have gotten them overseas.
Yeah, they're looking good.
The colors look pretty good. I'm pretty excited about them. And plus the way the Iroshizuku inks handle, I'm sure we can expect nothing less than what the other inks offer in terms of properties. So I'm excited about that.
Well, the next thing we're going to talk about on the agenda is our gift recommendations for the holidays.
Yeah. We've got some...
Need to blow your nose?
Yeah, I kind of do. We don't have any pictures left to cut to. Let's cut to a random picture. Hey, here is... Oh, I don't know. Let's show the Bourgogne again. I don't want you to see me blow my nose. So, anyway. This is the Bourgogne. I took this picture myself on a bunch of corks. I like this picture. That's all. Excuse us.
We're sick here.
You can hear us, but I can mute it, actually. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, well.
That's all right. All right, come back.
Sorry, everybody. So not professional, but whatever. This is what you get with us at 9:30 at night.
We're still here. Okay. All right, gift recommendations.
Oh, nice. Susan's got that as her desktop wallpaper.
That's cool.
Yes, that's awesome.
Some reason you're wanting a glass of red.
There you go. So basically, it's Christmas time. A lot of people are buying gifts right now, or we're noticing a lot of new customers that we've never seen before, and which
or
is
people
awesome.
Trying to get their friends or family into fountain pens. You know, people who are fans and our customers who are trying to spread the love. So we thought we would share some of our favorite, you know, by price range, some of our favorite gift ideas.
Yes.
And primarily pens.
And I do actually kind of plan to do a video of this as well. Again, because we've been like sick continuously.
Yeah, we're kind of like running out of time on that.
Well, we've been continuously sick for like the last 2 weeks, and then we got slammed at Thanksgiving time, and I don't know when it'll actually happen, but it'll happen. I'll get a video together. But anyway, for the time being...
Yeah, Hanukkah time first.
Hanukkah, there you go. Well, yeah, we're really coming up on that deadline.
Yeah, that and Christmas and Kwanzaa and winter solstice and whatever else you celebrate.
Yeah.
Either way, it's the season of gift giving.
Yes, definitely.
So we'll call it that.
But anyway, we are noticing an increase in the number of people that are relatively new to the fountain pen world, whether it's buying a gift for someone else or getting into it themselves.
The options are very overwhelming, especially with ink. Ink is just insane.
Yeah.
Festivus. Ah, yes. So we put together some package sets to kind of simplify the options and make it easy to be like, all right, I like that. That's easy.
Yeah.
We thought we would talk about some of our favorite things in different price ranges. And
maybe
why
just
we
like why
them.
we put some of the package sets together. And if you don't want to get a package set, if you're just looking for a particular item, what are some of the ones that we recommend?
I want a pen around the $30 price range. What do you recommend?
Yeah.
So starting with the lower price range, I would say up to $30 or so, 30 some.
30 usually tends to be
range.
a pretty good range. Yeah, most people are getting new into it, don't want to spend any more than 50 certainly. 30 tends to be kind of the cap.
I mean, obviously there's a real cheap pen like $3, $4, $5, like a Platinum Preppy or
or you
Varsity
get into like Pilot
or
Varsity,
like that.
some of the disposable ones and stuff like that. Those can be okay for a new person. The Preppies are usually pretty good, mainly because they're pretty foolproof. You stick a cartridge in there, use it, good to go. Proof of concept.
Yeah, pretty good beginner pens.
Yeah, and a lot of people like them. They're pretty durable, and it's kind of hard to ruin writing with a Preppy.
I think that was one of the first pens I ever used.
Probably.
I think it was.
Yeah.
So Preppies are super cheap. $4 if you want to get the converter. It's double the price of the pen, but you have that option. You have the eyedropper option. You can use cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
So. And they have quite a few cartridges it comes with. So that's my recommendation for the under $5 stocking stuffer option.
Yeah.
I'll call that.
Yeah, definitely.
We've already talked about the Metropolitan at $15. We love that pen.
That pen blows my mind.
Comes with a converter. It's yeah.
It's just amazing. I don't know how they do it for $15. I
haven't heard a single complaint yet about it.
They're great pens. Pilot just is an amazing company. They put out some great products, and this Metropolitan is no exception. Before this, the cheapest, intro starter Pilot that I remember from before was the Pilot Knight, which was like $40 or $45. Yeah. But that wasn't very popular. It was really
talking
heavy.
about like in Pilot's line?
Yeah.
I mean, you have things like the Plumix or, Parallel, like in the under $10
Yeah, but
mark.
those are italics, and I tend not to recommend those as beginner unless somebody really wants that calligraphy look. I usually don't recommend italics for someone new just because, it's less forgiving in terms of rotating the pen and stuff like that. If you're used to writing with ballpoints, going to an italic nib as a first fountain pen can be a little tough transition.
Yeah.
So I usually try to recommend just a regular ball, fine or medium nib pen.
Other things are the Platinum Plaisir. It's basically like an upgraded Preppy for $20 or $22 or whatever it's going for now.
Yeah.
I really like the finish on it and the colors.
It's definitely classier looking than
it has the same nib,
Preppy.
so if you like your Preppy, you're going to like the Plaisir. It's kind of like, I like my Preppy. What's the next step up? I'm like, well, this is basically the same nib, the same writing experience. It has the, like the slip and seal mechanism,
it does seal really well.
Yeah, it's
the
supposed to
Preppies
prevent drying
themselves
out.
actually seal pretty well too.
They do. That's part of why Nathan likes including those with his inks too.
Yeah.
So the Plaisir is great at $22. Again, you have to buy the converter, so it puts you out closer to $30, unless you do the cartridge option. You can't do that one as an eyedropper because it's aluminum. And then obviously you have the Lamy Safari, which is just like the no-brainer entry-level pen. It's probably top 2, top 3 that I always see recommended for a beginner.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Safari is great because
the interchangeable nibs.
You can swap out the nibs. It's got a great reputation. Just about every blogger that I know uses a Lamy Safari for something in some kind of reviews.
The grip section promotes proper form, I guess.
Yeah, it's got that triangular kind of grip. So
which I hate because I don't use proper grip, but I need to train myself, and then I will love it.
Or, if you're me and you have really big hands, that triangle grip can feel a little small. But, I don't use the Safari for long writing sessions, but I keep a Safari actually an all-star. which is essentially the same pen.
Alex uses those for her, like, she uses 90% of the time, it's either an All-Star or a Safari for all of the invoice notes she does.
Yeah.
And she's a broad in one, an italic in the other. Yeah, and you can get the nibs and change them out.
And they got different colors, and a lot of people like to match the ink color to the pen color, which I never used to do, but now I cannot help myself.
I do.
Yeah, so those are some of the ones that we recommend there.
Of course,
we've got some of the newer ones. We have like Platignum, which we're just kind of getting to know better.
Right.
It's gonna be pretty untested right now.
I don't know if I would recommend it as much for a beginner, just because the limitation of ink cartridges. You know, unless you get the mini converter, and then that's pretty easy to use.
Getting the converter, yeah.
But
once I get a video about that pen up, that'll help a lot.
I usually don't recommend pens that involve like refilling with an ink syringe for a beginner, because like they just look at the whole setup and like it's so daunting.
Yeah, that's like an enhancement. Once you're already sold on the concept, then an ink syringe is like, wow, this is awesome. This can really make my life better, instead of being like, oh my gosh, why do I need syringes for my pen? This is crazy. I look like a drug addict. Have we heard anything about the Safari 2013 color? No, and we probably won't until maybe March or so. Yeah.
It usually is released between April and May, and they keep it really hush-hush. I think we found out about March or so last year. We found out before the news on FPN, but we were sworn to secrecy. But I don't know anything at this point. I have wishes and desires, but I hope it's purple too.
Purple would be cool. Purple Safari would be cool. Mm-hmm. I would enjoy that.
Yeah, like a good magenta.
We don't even know what it'll be, because usually they alternate between Safaris and All-Stars.
No,
but lately they've been doing
like a Safari every spring.
Yeah.
I believe they've done both next year.
Because they did the apple green this year. They did the turquoise last year.
Aquamarine. Yep.
The aquamarine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before that, we weren't selling Lamy, but I don't remember what it was.
I think it was pink, and then they made it part of the regular line, and then it discontinued.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I have no idea.
We're excited to see. We always like to see new Lamy stuff coming out.
All right, so those are our recommendations for that price point. There are obviously other pens in that price range. Obviously, the Noodler's ones come to mind. I usually don't recommend those for beginners, because they're all flex pens, and flex pens are just, they're a whole, I view that as more of an advanced technique than an entry-level beginner. I've never used a fountain pen before. I'm not saying you can't do it, and a lot of people do. And they do have the piston mechanisms. You have that built in, but I usually don't recommend this for beginners.
It can be a bit much for somebody who isn't familiar with it.
Especially for the ones that require a little bit of tweaking, the nib and the feed, getting the flow just right.
Yeah.
I view them more as a value advanced level pen.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Next step up, I would go around that like $50, $60 price mark, maybe $50 to $75, somewhere in there. That would be like intermediate range, I would call.
Sure.
For some people that might be expensive, some people that might be, oh, that's still cheap, but I'll call it the intermediate range. Mm-hmm. The Lamy Studio is one of my favorites. I have several. I just started using the stainless steel with the rubber grip, and I love it. I'd been using the metal grip before, and it's fine. It never really bothered me, but that metal, or that rubber, just that extra cushion, it's just,
that one's
it's
great.
Really nice for long riding sessions.
One that I just realized we forgot to mention is the Schaefer 100 in the lower range.
It's $38.
Yeah, well, it's not quite in that $50 range, but it's right there with the All-Star. It's right in that range. The Schaefer 100 is smooth writing pen, nice and wet. I'm a fan of it.
It's got that classic brand.
Very solid feel. Kind of a classy, it's very businessy looking pen. Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that one out there.
Lamy Studio. I love lots of different colors. Obviously, you have, and I'm really talking about the steel nib versions. Obviously, you can go into the gold nib version in that 150 some price point. Mm-hmm. Can you unscrew the rubber grip and put it on, say, the LE Red Studio?
I believe you can.
Well, think just all you're doing is switching out the barrel.
Yeah, I believe you can. What we can't do is get the rubber grip separately.
You might be able to through Lamy USA.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you can, but the cost is like almost buying a new pen.
It's like $25 or something like that.
Yeah. It can be done. I
really like the rubber grip. I wish they, would offer it more.
Yeah. I like some of the colors they have though too, and I really hope they keep expanding that line.
Yeah.
So I love the Studio. For folks looking for a very fine nib, the Pilot Prera comes to mind. That's 56.
Yep.
Their fine is like
It's very, very fine.
Super fine, extra
fine.
It's Japanese, but it's like it's beyond. It's very, very fine.
Yeah.
So someone looking for something in that price range, they like very fine nibs. They say they have to write at work on really bad paper, or they have really small handwriting. The Pilot Prayer comes to mind.
Definitely.
Oh, TWSBI Mini, yeah. Forgot about that. $50. TWSBI's great, reliable. You know, and their customer service is unparalleled. Yeah, TWSBI Mini makes a great pen. Got the piston mechanism built in. So, like, you know, once you get into that range, it's like you either have a converter included or you have a piston mechanism, and it's kind of a no-brainer for filling. You don't have to worry about which cartridge or which ink syringe or that sort of thing. It's pretty straightforward at that point.
And the 540, which is recently discontinued, but that's right in there as well. When the new 580 comes to replace it, that'll be another recommendation. We don't know the exact price of the 580, but I would assume it's around the 540.
I'm guessing it'll be in the $50, $60 price range.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if it were more, but I don't know. What else in that price range? I'm trying to think.
Oh, there's some other things. I mean, you get
the Monteverde Prima. That's been very popular.
Oh, the Prima, yeah.
That's a lot of fun colors.
Yeah.
And you have interchangeable nibs again, including a stub nib, which is really nice.
Yeah, that stub is awesome. And they use Jowo nibs, so it's
same as Edison.
Good quality German nibs, good stuff. So they write like awesome. And, to get pens in a cast resin like that, look at the patterns of the Monteverde Prima. You don't see those in $50 pens.
That reminds me, something we haven't talked about. I'd found out that a couple of the models of the Prima are being discontinued.
That's right.
For the 2013 year. I can't remember offhand which ones. It's like all but 3 of them. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I know they're keeping the turquoise. I think it's the turquoise, the tiger eye, and the green swirl, I think, are the ones they're keeping. Yeah. So that means the brown swirl, brown stripe, blue stripe, and the black are going to be discontinued.
Right.
So we'll keep restocking them until our distributor runs out, and then they'll be going by the wayside. I am completely hypothesizing and guessing, but I'm hoping we'll see new colors replace those next year. Because it would only leave 3 colors, and that just doesn't seem like a lot to me. From a line of 7 down to 3, it's like, okay.
I don't know. That would be cool. That's my hope, is that they'll come out with new colors.
Well, I know there are new Artista Crystal colors coming out next year. I don't know if we've announced that yet. I don't know if we're supposed to. I'm not going to tell you what they are. How about that? But they're supposed to come early next year. So if you like the Artista Crystal, which some of you folks in the chat are talking about, there are some new colors coming out. I did get to see them in person at the DC show. They look good.
Pretty cool, yeah.
They look good. Definitely vibrant.
Yeah.
So yeah, Monteverde, great. Then you start going up in price. You get to the Invincias. So those are in that 70 to 80, price range. Again, the interchangeable nibs. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
The carbon fiber and all that.
Now, did you want to keep going up on pens? Because, we're kind of getting out of the starter price range now.
No, we're talking about gifts. And then I was just going to jump up real quick because a lot of folks have that $150 price point as basically for giving like a real nice gift, like for your boss or for your wife or
college graduate or something like that.
Exactly. Okay. There are a ton in that price range that are spectacular.
Like the 150 to 200, because what happens when you get around 150, that's when you really start to cross over into gold nib territory, and then your options kind of open up from there.
Lamy 2000. Great workhorse.
That's a great pen. Vanishing Point. You got the click. It's great for work. Very fine nib, so also good for a work setting. Just the retractable click mechanism is not only cool, but it's handy if you're using it like at work or something where you're just taking occasional notes. Yeah.
Edison pens, the production line. You get into that there. The Premier Cappuccino is my favorite, of course. What am I? I feel like I'm missing some. There's so many. I feel like I'm missing some real obvious ones.
You got like the Platinum, Black Century is in there.
Yeah, that's good.
That one gets up a little more like
175. Yeah. So.
But, 150, 175.
Oh, the Falcon, the Namiki Falcon.
Yeah, that's a big one
144,
too.
That's great.
The Platinum Maquiers, Modern Maquiers are right in there too. That beautiful 18 karat nib. Definitely
the Custom 74. Thank you, guys. I knew I could count on you.
The Custom 74.
The Pilot Custom 74.
Why was that not the first one out of my mouth?
That's
the one that I use every day.
That's your daily pen.
It is.
a medium blue custom 74 with Liberty's Elysium.
Oh my gosh, I love that pen.
Actually, I'm pretty sure I have that as a package set.
You do. It's my package set.
It's your daily writing package set.
Except right now I have 54th Massachusetts in there.
Why are you changing it up?
I went dangerous and went with a little darker blue. A little darker blue. But I'll go back to Liberty's Elysium
Oh, the
soon.
special edition Edison. Yeah, we didn't announce how many were purchased.
Oh, yeah.
We had a total of 70. So Brian is working on making those now, and I think in the next week... Brian Gray. He's working on making those in the next week. He's going to be posting a gallery of his progress along the way. So if you ordered one, you can see the progress of your pen.
It's pretty cool. He's gonna do a good job. He's got some good photography equipment and stuff, and he'll have a good time with it. Posting pictures. It's pretty neat to see because he makes them in stages, and he's seeing just racks of all the pens. In the different parts of the process and stuff. It's really kind of cool.
Especially this one has a lot of different parts to it with the medallion and the center band and stuff. So 70. So we're really, really pleased with that. So if you ordered one, stay tuned. We'll keep you posted.
Yeah.
We talked about the Falcon.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I think we pretty much covered a good selection right there. Those are some of our favorites for sure. Let's talk about paper. When it comes to paper,
Triumph.
It's just
Triumph is a great gift.
That's a great gift.
It's super smooth. A lot of people ask about Gilles Allo, Verge de France, or we have the Crown Mill,
Crown Mill cotton is good.
But but when it comes to the classic laid, that's a real personal preference thing. So I have a lot of people asking to give us gifts. They're like, I don't know if they're gonna like the texture. I'm like, yeah. I don't know.
But then again, it's kind of different too. You don't write on paper like that every day.
Well, it's true.
So for someone new to fountain pens, they may think, this is really kind of special and cool.
I mean,
Triumph, having laid paper like that.
Triumph is pretty sweet too. I mean, it's just super smooth.
I mean, Triumph is my favorite paper.
It's a little more affordable too.
Yeah.
So I recommend that.
Of course, if you got somebody you're giving a gift and they're a big journal or a diary or somebody like that, getting a bound journal. Lloydstrom is definitely a good choice.
Rodeo Web notebook.
The large size Lloydstrom, so the 5x8, A5 size.
Yeah, that's the most popular
size for sure.
Do you have or can you put together some sort of paper sampler? You know what? This question has been coming up a lot recently, and I've been racking my brain trying to figure out how to make it work, because as we expand our paper lines, especially because some of the notebooks start at $15-$16. That's a lot to spend if you don't know what the paper's like. You don't want to be stuck with a journal with paper you hate. When we first started out, we carried just Triumph and Lalo and Rhodia. And we did do some paper samplers. We just did a couple sheets from each and had them in an envelope. It was a lot simpler back then because you knew what the paper was. The logistics that I'm struggling with, and maybe if you guys have some ideas, you can help me out, but I'm kind of explaining a little bit why we haven't rushed to release it, because it seems like it's a no-brainer. Labeling the paper, so if we include a sampler across different brands, how do we identify what the paper is?
Yeah.
Do we print labels? Do we put it on it? How do we do that? Shipping it so it doesn't bend, of course, so it'd have to be some kind of flat envelope. And then the price would have to be right, so you wouldn't want to spend $10 and be oh, I could just buy this notebook for $5. Why would I spend $10 just for a couple of sheets?
Right.
Because obviously it's very labor intensive, so we have to build that in too.
That's a problem we come across.
But then you deal with the shipping cost because it's flat. Say you order a paper sampler and a bottle of ink, it
has to be shipped in a big box.
Exactly, which brings the cost up. So we're really struggling with how to do it economically. I don't know whether it makes sense to be for $1 you get 5 sheets of this paper, or whether it should be for $10 you get a sample of everything. And then what do you do about journals that don't have perforated pages? Do we destroy a journal to cut out paper? The
economics just don't work out, because basically what happens is the labor that's involved and the increased shipping cost and all that stuff is such that it would not be economically feasible.
It makes more sense
for us to
buy
offer the
whatever
sampler.
The thing is.
Yeah, I mean, it seems simple in concept, but unlike ink samples, where you basically take ink out of a bottle and you put it in kind of a standardized vial and you can ship it, and that it just kind of is what it is, and they're fairly small. Mm-hmm. Paper sampler gets tough because it's how do you sample? For example, the Lloydstrom master lined has a different ruling than all the other sizes. Right. So what would you do? Just like offer 2 sheets of that paper in its own sampler?
I would make it so it's all like the same size, like all A5 or like smaller, because it's representative. But you're right, the master has a different paper weight.
And the paper weight is different than in the masters versus the other sizes.
Can you get paper samples from the journal companies?
Usually not. I mean,
especially because we're going through like distributors and dealing with manufacturers in Europe, and I don't know.
It gets amazingly complicated, especially because every company is different.
Yeah. So I would love to, and I hate telling people like, no, I'm sorry, we can't. Like the logistics are tough. Like,
and we tried it too, and another problem we had was when you're shipping just a couple pieces of paper, it's very easy for them to get damaged in transit.
Yeah.
And then when somebody pays a premium for a few sheets of paper and it gets bent in shipping, they get really mad. And it's like, well, it was a no-win situation for us back then. Now it's like I can't even conceive of how we would do it.
I could see doing it for paper that's like tablets that are perforated. So you have like Triumph or or Clairefontaine or Rhodia pads or Lalo, Crown Mill. Stuff like that. But like Stillman and Byrne or Lloydstrom, I don't really know how to do. Or like Rhodia Web notebook, like obviously we could, or Habana, like we couldn't do.
Yeah, that'd be tough. We've been thinking about that one a lot. But
small poster tubes. I thought about that. That works if that's the only thing you're ordering. But then if you're ordering other things with it, then you end up having a big. Oh, Stillman and Byrne sends out paper samples directly. Huh.
They might be able to do it. Yeah, they've sent us some stuff before.
And again, we haven't rushed into it because there's just so many logistics to work through. But I haven't given up on it. I haven't dismissed it. It's always been in the back of my mind. I want to do more research to find out, like, for example, if we can get paper by itself from the manufacturer. Yeah, so some folks are suggesting, if a group of people each got a journal and swapped pages, there are journal swaps and stuff going on. Like I know on Fountain Pen Network, there's things like that.
Yeah.
So, haven't, I'm not dismissing it. I obviously I see the need for it. It totally makes sense to me, and I would love to be able to do it. I just have to figure out how
the logistics are
in a way that is economical for you, easy for you, but isn't so laborsome or burdensome or costly for us where it's not worthwhile. Our guys who work really hard and their time is limited and stuff. So I want to make sure that, if it's very labor intensive, that you're willing to pay the cost for that sort of. So anyway.
Yeah.
That's a long answer for. But it is something I want to figure out. It's like a big challenge that's been hanging over me.
Okay, let's keep moving on here because my throat's about shot, so I need to wrap this up.
Well, it's 10 o'clock, so we could pretty much.
Yeah. The only thing we didn't cover is ink for new people getting into it. What inks?
Noodler's Black.
Noodler's Black is always a good one. That's always kind of a given. Noodler's is always popular because usually what happens with new fountain pen people is they're used to like gel pens or really dark saturated lines. So if they get an ink that's not quite as saturated and they get shading and things like that,
they usually think
something's wrong or their pen's broken. I'm not joking. This happens. We get emails about, people that think that their pen is broken because the ink looks different, on certain letters.
It looks darker at the bottom of my stroke than the top. Like, okay, that's called shading. It's actually a desirable quality.
It's a good thing, So usually going with darker saturated colors, things that are more vibrant, if you're in the U.S., that tends to be what people in the U.S. like, is very vibrant colors. Look at Private Reserve and Noodlers and the American ink companies.
Blue I love, really, but I'm like stay away with for a beginner just because it does have a tendency to stain. They might not be the best at clean, good pen hygiene, and it might freak them out.
Yeah, I mean Noodler's Black, Heart of Darkness is another good one that everybody's talking about. Heart of Darkness comes with a pen, with a Preppy,
so you're all set to go.
That could be a good little set right there.
Yeah.
Those are definitely some good ones.
If you're buying a pen, sometimes, people like the brand to match. So if you're buying a Lamy Safari, you can get a bottle of Lamy ink. Mm-hmm. Just people feel a little safer about, like, staying within the same manufacturer. Like, because I guess there's something mental about it. Like, oh, it's going to be more compatible. And then there's always, the manufacturer's warnings about, like, don't use this pen with anything other than our ink.
Yeah.
But I'm saying just for, like, a peace of mind for someone just starting out, easing into it. But, like, when someone's asking for a black, I always say Noodler's Black. It's just it works on everything.
Yeah, it's just like the best black
and
around.
economic. It's a great price for what you're getting.
Yeah, when you get into other colors, well, then your world just kind of opens up.
An ink drop membership is always a good idea.
That is a great gift.
It's a great way to sample, different colors that they might not have tried for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. Diamine's another good one. That's a good brand. Lots of good saturated colors in there.
Waterman Florida Blue, which is now Serenity Blue. That's a good
Waterman,
staple.
Waterman's
you
good
can
to
stick
go
with some of like the classic, like Parker and Waterman and stuff that maybe they've heard of. They're might not be as interesting as some of the newer colors, but they're like classic.
Yeah, Waterman's good. I'd recommend Waterman for sure. Mm-hmm. So there you go. All right, we're gonna wrap up here because I'm shot. I've done about all I can do. If you guys have any other questions, you can always shoot us an email. Brian at gouletpens.com, Rachel at gouletpens.com. We're happy to answer your questions. Thanks for tuning in with us here. We basically, are about at our end here, but sorry if we seem a little tired or sick. That's because we are both of these things. Thanks for coming and joining us anyway. We really enjoyed it. Hopefully you got some good little nuggets of information out of the broadcast here. So we're going to be shooting some videos. I've been slow on the videos the last couple of weeks, and I know that, and I'm sorry. I've been like this. So
and we're trying to get the orders out the door because that's the most important thing.
Yeah, which we are pretty caught up. So, we're back in good shape there, and, just need to rest up and get myself better, and then I'll start pounding out the videos again. But in the meantime, we got lots of new products, and I've got a huge backlog of videos on YouTube and Ink Nouveau posts on the blog. I think I've done like 710 or 20 posts or something like that at this point.
Let's go back and look through the archives.
It's crazy.
If you're bored.
There's so much. There's just so much there now, and I need to kind of reorganize it too because it's been a little while since I've gone through and done that. So I'll do that. But
honey lemon whiskey mix does the trick.
I bet that would do the trick. Heavy on the whiskey, right? No. So anyway,
sleep will work.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. We will plan to be back here next week, unless we get even sicker. But, as long as we're as good as we are now or better, we'll be back here next week. Next week will be the 12th, I think?
The 12th.
Yeah. Okay. The 12th. We'll be back 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you later. Right on.